So let's get started by creating our first project. Now you'll notice once I click that button, it'll prompt you to choose the corresponding project type. Now we can choose from Android, iOS, or web. And we have to choose so Zeppelin can export the dimensions accordingly. So I'm going to choose the web option and then hit create. Now you'll notice it brought us to the project page and it'll show us how to import our designs from Sketch, from Figma, and from Photoshop. Now I'm going to cover these in the next 3 videos, so for now I just want to cover some of the basic navigation of Zeppelin. So to get started, let's go to the home screen by hitting the Projects button in the upper left-hand corner. So from the home screen, this is where you'll see all of the Zeppelin projects that you create. So obviously right now we just signed up for Zeppelin and we only have one project here. Now you'll be able to create as many projects as your Zeppelin plan allows. So on my main Zeppelin account, I have over 30 different design projects that I'm either working on or have finished with different clients. So you can imagine that this can get quite busy. So at the top, you can search by the project name to find a project faster, or you can use these sorting tabs here to sort by when it was created, when it was last updated, and by project names. Now if we want to create a new project, all we have to do is hit the create button here, and once again you'll be prompted to choose what type of project it is and go through the process. Now each project will have its little card here. It'll show the project name, which we haven't updated yet, what type of project it is, and it'll show all the users that have access to it. So right now, obviously I'm the only user that has access to this, but if we add more users, which I'll show you later on, they'll also show up here. It'll also show when the project was recently updated, so 9 minutes ago was when we created this. And then if you see, when we hover over the project card, the little settings icon shows. So we click that, you'll see that we can invite more users, we can transfer the ownership to another team member, we can archive the project, or we can delete the project. Now archiving a project is super helpful when you've finished the development of a project, but you want to keep it around on Zeppelin a little bit longer in case anyone on your team needs to revisit it. So if you hit archive project, no one on the project will be able to see it anymore, but any of the admins or whoever created the project will be able to activate it later on if necessary. So in the upper right hand corner, you'll notice 2 little icons there. The first icon is the little bell icon, which shows our alerts. So anytime a project team member comments or leaves a note on a project, or someone updates mockups, or sometimes you'll even get alerts from the Zeppelin crew announcing new features or updates. So if I click on that, you'll see that they recently announced there's a Trello power up, and that version 1.22 is now out. Now just to the right of that is your user icon. Now you should see your username here along with your email and the ability to log out. Then you'll also notice that we can update your emoji, which is randomly given to you. Or if you have a Gravatar link to your email, that will also show up as your user profile. So let's go ahead and explore how we can actually change the name of our project. So to do this, let's jump into our project details by double clicking on the card here. And then you'll see on the right hand pane, this is really all of your details of the project. Now in the middle here will be the screens that we're going to upload in the next video. Now you can also drag the details over depending on how your screens are. So the first thing that we can do is change the project name. You can obviously name this to whatever you would like. The next thing, it'll show the project type here. Then you'll see that we can choose the project density. So if we click on the pencil icon here, you'll see that it says, what are your screen's densities? This will help us generate assets and measurements. Now this is super important. So the project that I'm going to import from Sketch was created at 2x or twice the resolution for Retina. So I definitely need to click 2x here. Now, if your measurements seem to be way off and your developer's really confused why all of the assets are huge or way too small for that matter, then this is probably where you went wrong. Now below that, you'll see that it has a web app link. So this is a link that you can quickly copy if you want to send it to your developer or whoever you're working with. This will take them directly to this project on Zeppelin. Below that, you'll see that you can integrate your Slack channel with your team. And then below that, you can create a designer style guide. Now this is for presenting to stakeholders or people that aren't members of your Zeppelin project. And you'll see here that only admins or higher can enable this. So the rest of your team or developers you're working with may not be able to access this unless you give them admin status. So the last thing you'll see here is probably the most important thing on the right hand side. And now obviously Zeppelin is only useful if you have collaborators or other team members on the project. So we'll need to invite different team members. So to do this, just hit the invite button. Now you can invite people to Zeppelin with their email, or if they've already got a Zeppelin account, you can add them by using their Zeppelin username. So once we hit invite, you'll see that it shows here that it's pending invitation. So it will say pending until the user has signed up for Zeppelin and accepted your request. Now once you've added users, you'll see that there's a setting icon here. Now if we click on that, we can assign them as an admin, or we can remove them from the project. So this wraps up the navigation of Zeppelin. The next 3 course videos are going to show you how to export your designs from Sketch, Figma, and Photoshop. So you can either watch all 3 or just choose your corresponding software.